Hello and welcome to Daybreak, Fraser Valley Weekend. I'm Cari Moore.
And I'm Kelli Paddon. On the show this week, our guest is Robyn Curtis of the Rotary Club of Chilliwack. She's in charge of both the Rotary Climate Action Committee and the much-loved Rotary Climate Fair, which is happening really soon, so you'll want to hear about it.
We're also excited to be introducing a brand new wellness segment featuring Natalie Bedard, a health and wellness coach, to Daybreak. We also have all the news you'll want to hear from around the valley this past week and give you a heads up for what events are on and what to do that's fun.
Yeah, Vera says Netflix is for chumps, so get out of the house this weekend.
Go grab a cup of coffee or tea and get ready for about 20 minutes of Daybreak Deets that'll get you a kickstart to your weekend.
Deets? Really?
Yep, Deets.
Okay.
Welcome back. Your weekend, how was it? The sun was great.
It was great, and especially after all of that rain.
I know. Yeah.
I talked my husband out of doing any of the yard work because I thought one of two things. Either the weather's going to be horrible and all that yard work won't matter, or the weather's going to be amazing and we have other time to do it. So, yeah, we just got to enjoy it.
It's a real risk. Like, did we just have summer? One never knows. My husband was actually out emptying all the rainwater out of the pool, which seems kind of anti-productive, totally.
Yeah.
So March is over, which means Tuesday was April Fool's Day. Have you ever done anything prank-wise on your kids?
Well, when they were in elementary school, I told them it was Crazy Hair Day when it was not Crazy Hair Day.
That's epic.
Dropped them off at school with the full dues, congratulated them and wished them well.
Did they get you bad the next year?
No, they had already gotten me that morning. They sprayed me awake, so they earned it.
Exactly, perfect. Yeah. I looked up a few pranks that were happening in the valley, and one of them was Abbotsford Middle School was changing their mascot to a Chihuahua. They had me until it said Chihuahua. I'm like, what kind of mascot is that?
Yeah, a Chihuahua is not a mascot. It's a cautionary tale. I know because I have one.
Yeah.
So
scary little things.
Yeah.
Also a local real estate agent. He put out a whole ad about this new development that was going to be happening in a roundabout in Abbotsford, and in the background were pictures of houses floating in the Sumas Lake. It was just lovely.
Okay, maybe the lake part's not super funny.
No, not at all.
But with the demand for housing, housing in roundabouts, it could be coming,
happen.
right?
Yeah. Another thing that I was like, oh, that could be coming. There was a pharmacy that said that they wanted to start delivering people's prescriptions by way of drone. And I'm like, well, that's cool, but how would the elderly who need to have that delivered to them know about drones even? Like, and the practicality of it all. But I do know that it's coming.
There's already some places in the States, right?
And in Africa, like small little villages, they send stuff out.
I don't know if I'm ready for that, but it might be easier to find people who are willing to use video remotes for the drones than it is to find drivers who...
Yeah, and it's better for the environment, which we're going to talk about in a minute.
Yeah, I don't think I'm ready.
No, it's too much for me.
But it was hard. Some of the things were difficult to tell what was a joke and what wasn't. Just because, we're in the silly season with the campaign again, another campaign with all of the, we'll say, shenanigans happening in the U.S. There's some things that are legit news items that are coming out that I thought were jokes.
Yeah.
And then
you can't be serious.
I was sad.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. But yeah, speaking of the news, anything catch your eye?
Definitely the whole carbon tax going away. That is exciting.
And legislature sat until just before 2 a.m. to get that through. So that's only on the consumer climate tax. And I've been seeing this week people
prices
commenting.
Going down?
No. People commenting that the prices at the gas stations went up, and then the climate tax was dropped, carbon tax was dropped, and the prices just went down to where they were before.
Yeah. And why is Chilliwack always so much higher than even Abbotsford or Langley? Does it cost that much more to drive our oil out here?
You know what? This was a question I used to get a lot when I was in office. And, different people, different opinions. It's a free marketplace.
It drives me crazy. I know that they probably should charge us for what they paid. They shouldn't increase the price halfway through, but they do.
Yeah, you know,
It goes up and down, up and down.
it does.
Yeah.
And the government has said they're going to put in protections against gouging, but the good news is consumer climate tax is, or carbon tax, depending on what you call it, is gone now in British Columbia and across Canada.
Yeah. And the things that it paid for, hopefully they can still be paid for.
That's still the question. There were some pretty important programs, so the climate action plan is still in place, but there were rebates and different things that were offered, and government will be looking at
Fund
how
that
to do
somewhere
that. I'm
else,
interested in finding out more about how that's going to happen, to be honest, but
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are happy that the tax is gone.
Anything else that you saw that you were like, that's cool?
Abbotsford Police.
I love that they have a great social media, by the way.
Okay, they really do. So kudos.
Yeah.
Speaking of social media, feel free to like and share Daybreak. Yes. But this past weekend, 350 police files on the weekend they handled. So I think they removed 16 impaired drivers and 7 excessive speeders. So one of them was caught traveling at 120 kilometers an hour in a 50 zone.
I really hope that they no longer have a car.
Yeah. So the RCP were saying that the focus was on road safety, but they also did other things as well. I know they were checking in on people who were on probation or parole, I believe. So really just focusing on road safety, but safety in general as well. But kudos to actually like sharing the information.
Yeah, getting it out there and letting us know.
It wasn't the RCMP, it was the Abbotsford Police,
Yes,
right?
abbyPD.
So congratulations on letting people know, because a lot of times people don't know what's going on, what's happening, and what's happening with your time, right?
Exactly.
So that was
and
pretty awesome.
why are they targeting who they target? So it was nice that they explained it all.
To keep the community safe.
Yes.
That's why.
Speaking of keeping us safe, the sinkhole on the way to Hope.
Okay, so not funny. But in November, there was a sinkhole just outside of Hope.
On the freeway.
On the freeway. And the Ministry of Transportation handled it temporarily, but with all the rain and everything, it came back. Now, the very first thing I did was Google sinkhole.
You shouldn't do that.
Well,
they're very interesting. I like bloopers where the cars just go poof into the sinkhole.
Except for if there's a person in that car, right? So no cars were lost. Sinkholes to me always look like aliens came and just... Anyway,
like where does all the dirt go that was in the hole?
Down.
But there was something down below there,
down.
right? Down. Yeah. There has to be water pulling it away, maybe.
There's a really cool one in California that is only visible when the water level changes or something. Anyway, I found that on the Google. So yeah, but it's fixed now.
Yes.
I think there still might be some traffic control. I'm not 100% sure.
But I think all the lanes were finally going to be opened.
I haven't been out there today, obviously.
Yeah.
But looking at that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So.
Something else I saw, Kaleidoscope Childcare in Mission. They're going to be opening a multi-level building that has a lot of different things in it. Like they'll have child and youth excellence. It's going to be a big hub. It's going to be a partnership with UFV as well. So their students are helping design some of the playground equipment and the play spaces. So I think that's really cool that the community and the city are getting together with the universities to do things in our community.
Yeah, one of the partners and the people who will be running it is actually MACL, which is Mission Association of Community Living. They'll be running it, and they're one of the partners, and they'll own the building when the city hands it over. But UCFV has an incredible early childhood education program, so the fact that they're getting hands-on advice from experts and students who are studying and who will be the next wave of ECE workers, which we know are really, really in need. We have a shortage here. That's incredible that they're co-creating this incredible, inclusive space.
Yeah, I'd love it to come to every city.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So, after the break, we're going to talk with Robyn Curtis of the Rotary Club of Chilliwack and the 3rd edition of the Rotary Climate Fair. So that's coming up really soon. Make sure you come back.
We Sunday driving and the sun's bright shining. We load up the doggies, gas up our rifle. We're gonna hit that 4-lane, and man, we are flying. We come alive when we Sunday driving.
All right, thanks for coming back. We are here with Robyn to talk about all things Climate Fair, but first, can you tell us a little bit about what brought you to Chilliwack?
Yes, actually, I had the opportunity to work for YVR for 12 years, and I loved my career there. I got to have 4 different careers in one. Every 3 years, I think they realized I just get bored easily, and they let me, or I couldn't hold a job down. We can't tell what the problem was.
Right.
But from there, I actually became a consultant. So now I work from home. And in 2017, I moved to Chilliwack, got to work from home, but I got lonely. So in 2018, I actually looked into organizations where I could do service, and I found Rotary. I was actually looking for somewhere where I could work on climate change, but I couldn't find it. I looked around. There are some great organizations working on important environmental concerns. But in 2018, I realized, okay, I can't find that unless you're working in government or a big company. So I joined Rotary, love what they do, but I was still looking to leave. I was still looking to find somewhere I could work on this issue. And luckily for me, in 2021, Rotary added environment and climate change to our areas of focus.
So do you have like a background in climate change, or is this just a passion?
No, do you know what? I actually was a pilot in my 20s. And then I became, then I realized that wasn't for me. I call it my $40,000 dating scheme. I found out that there were only 3 females at the airport. So you go straight from a 7 to an 8.5. It was, there were a lot of men. So I jokingly, I love flying. But luckily, flying really translated going into YVR, so more airports. So now I consult more, taxiways and aprons are my specialty.
Taxiways and aprons.
Yes,
what's
and
what's an
right.
apron?
Where aircraft park.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
yes. So mostly do work for airports around.
So
the
generally
world.
not just our little airport.
No, mostly YVR.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you still work with them, but out here.
Yes, correct.
Didn't YVR just win some awards?
Every year they are. I
See?
don't know if there are
I'm
other
paying attention.
airports listening, but they are the best. Yes.
That's
so
fantastic.
yeah,
And you're part of that.
I am helping. They are an
So
amazing
Robyn
team.
is part of that.
Yes. Do you know what? I got to have 3 years working in the environment department where I worked on noise management. If you can believe there's a job where people call in and tell you off every day
I believe it.
about aircraft noise. Oh, actually, you would
I believe
believe
it.
that.
About
You
all
believe
of
that.
it. Yeah, right.
So in that department, I got to meet environmentalists. And I was actually more of an operations. I always talked airplanes, but they were teaching me about climate change and environment, and they crawled right into my soul. And I think I couldn't shake it. So this is what when I semi-retired, this is what I wanted to do. So now I have a place to do it.
Awesome.
So
And so you're still consulting about environment.
I actually consult on aviation. So I write manuals. It's super exciting. I write mostly manuals and data analysis, but my now become a full-time job is this chair of the Climate Change Action Group with Rotary, and I think it's now 40 hours a week. So
40 hours a week. Okay.
volunteer. Yeah.
That's amazing.
But it doesn't feel like work when you love it.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
true.
an amazing team.
Yeah.
That is fantastic and so needed. So I think that we are going to dive into that in just a minute when we come back. But first, this is the 3rd year.
This is the 3rd and final year.
Okay. Well, we will be right back with Robyn to hear all about the Climate Fair this year for the 3rd and final year.
Welcome back. So, Rotary Climate Fair.
Yes.
What can we expect?
Well, we have 3 parts of climate fairs. One, it's a trade show. So we have over 50 companies and vendors, organizations coming.
Okay.
Second, it's a job fair. A lot of people don't realize that. We actually run it so that people can come and learn what jobs are available, how they can shift to renewable energy jobs, if you're interested in the trades. And then third, there are speakers. You have to check the speakers online. I don't even understand why these people give up a Saturday and Sunday to come out and speak for free. A lot of these speakers usually get paid, but for some reason, if you say Rotary and climate, all these incredible, they're experts.
Reel them in.
It's unbelievable. Joanna Wagstaff's coming from CBC.
Wow.
It's just, we have leaders in is no one that knows more about these issues than are coming to speak at our little climate fair.
That's amazing.
Well, it's not so little.
No.
No. How many people came last year? Do you remember?
We think about 400 or 500. Yeah, so it's free to the public.
Yeah.
People are realizing it is our third and final one in Chilliwack. It is the biggest event of its kind in Eastern Fraser Valley. There are events like this for closer to Vancouver, but for Chilliwack, this is it.
And in the valley, it's really, really important. We have agriculture here. We all need the transportation that we use to get to work and from work, and there's different ways to do that better. I know when I went, I started talking to people about solar panels, which I thought was completely outside of reality for me.
Too costly.
Right? Which wasn't at all the case.
Yeah.
And the jobs, I know last year Tycrop was hiring. There was a bunch of places hiring. But there's a lot to learn there, but you're saying it's the last one in the valley, so we're going to lose the climate fair and carbon tax at the same time? Like, does that mean we've solved it?
No, yes,
right.
it's all good.
It's all good
We're
now.
fine now.
Yep,
Yes.
No.
So we are actually moving. It's leaving here, but we feel like we promised to do 3, and this is our third. We're working on 20 other projects at the same time as
20.
20.
Okay.
We have a whole team. We actually started this action group with 10 people in 21, and now there's 111 people on the distribution list.
Good for
So
you.
we're actually working on, this is just one of the many initiatives, and we have a lot in the wings that we are going to be doing, some international, some local. So there are a lot of things that we're working on, and that's where we're going next. But this climate fair is getting legs, and the next one is looking like Semiahmoo White Rock. We'll be hosting
That's
the
not too
next
far
one.
away, yeah.
So we'll be helping them get that off the ground. And then other Rotaries are starting to discuss maybe doing it in their community as well.
And so you have kind of a blueprint that they can follow.
I've actually, as some people under my Rotary Club know, I like to write these long plans.
Standard
that I can,
operating procedures.
it's a manual. This is what I do for a job. I have to hand you a manual.
Yeah.
So I actually gave a presentation the other day for 2 hours on how to host a climate fair to the club that's taking it over. So they're ready.
Good
They're
for
ready to
you.
hit the ground running.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So, but yeah, do you know what? It's hard to evaluate the impact of these climate fairs. We can say that after the first event, 17 people ripped out furnaces and put in heat pumps. So that's measurable, but it's hard to measure influence.
Yeah.
So we actually have 5 reasons that we host a climate fair. That's usually what people ask me is why?
Okay.
Why?
Why would you do? Why would you spend 800 collective volunteer hours to put these on? Which is how much? But the first was the obvious. We wanted to educate and bring awareness. The second was to show people how to shift to renewable energy and that it was possible where we are.
Right.
But what we didn't see coming until we hosted it was watching the vendors actually learn from each other. So just because you work in Cultus Lake Stewarts doesn't mean you necessarily know what solar panels or heat pumps are or what insulation will do. And then we have our local elected officials usually come. We actually this time invited mayor and council from every community around us.
Okay,
So Langley is coming, Abbotsford's coming, Mission's coming.
Or Fraser Valley
Legacy,
representative.
everybody. And then the final thing is it's actually a fundraiser. So a lot of people don't realize that
didn't realize that.
every booth that's sitting there has paid a little bit of money to be there. And we're doing a project in Uganda, an environmental project based on the money last year.
Nice tied together.
So when can people go? Because you should go.
Yeah.
You should go. April 12th and 13th. So we set up on
Coming
the 11th.
up quick.
It's coming up quick. You can just Google Rotary Climate Fair. You can actually look at all the speakers. You might have a speaker that speaks to you, and you might want to come at that time. So
And when you say come at that time, where's it
yes, it's at the Landing Sports Center.
at? That one on Spadina.
On Spadina.
Okay.
Yes. All the times, location, all that is online. Plus all our sponsors who make it possible. We put this thing on for a grand total of $500.
That's fantastic. And there's one more reason that you put it on that I will add.
Go.
Because I've heard it in community, is it's to get the conversation started. So
Yes.
I hear people talking about it. I hear people speaking differently about their ability to influence, their footprint and it becoming part of something that we're talking about in conversation as a community. That's another reason.
That makes me feel cool.
Yeah.
So good. Thank you. I needed to hear that. No, it's a team effort too. There are Rotarians that quietly take pieces of it away. You know, I get to be the front man for this, but I have a team of much smarter people around me that are making it happen. So
Well, we thank you very much for that, and we hope that your next phase it's just as fulfilling because you're done.
You will
after
hear
this.
about it.
Okay,
That's
amazing.
Not going anywhere.
Fantastic. All right, we will be right back with Natalie Bedard, and we're going to be having a Wellness Minute.
Hey everyone, I'm Natalie Bedard. I am a fitness, nutrition, and mindset coach, and the number one thing that people come to me for is to look and feel better in their bodies. And when they do that, they usually come thinking they're going to get a restrictive diet, some super secret protocol, exercise regime that is hard and that they won't be able to stick to long term. And what I tell them is that we're not going to do that. We're going to focus on the basics. And there's 5 of them really that we focus on initially. So the keys that we focus on to improve our fitness level, feeling better, looking better are number 1, nutrition. Can you eat more balanced meals at home? More whole foods. Doesn't mean that you can't go out and eat fun foods, but most of the time eating foods that you've prepared for yourself. The second thing is movement. You don't have to run out and start doing boot camps or spend hours at the gym, but just move more than you are now. Think of an intentional walk, getting out, just walking more, parking further away from a store that you're going into and walking. The next thing is hydration. Are you drinking water or are you drinking coffee and teas all day or sodas? Water is really, really important to our digestion, to just feeling our best, even feeling less bloated. So water is really, really important. The next is your sleep. Are you getting 7 to 9 hours of good sleep? So if you're not, you really want to work on that. Create a bedtime routine, something that really just triggers you to think, oh, it's time to relax. Less screen time, having a dark, cool room, going to bed at a regular time, waking up at a regular time can really help with that. And then the last one is stress, one thing we all deal with. And if your stress level is really high, what are you doing to cope? Are you doing things that feel joyful in life, right? So even just starting there, building awareness around the things that make you feel stressed. How are you coping with that? And really just give yourself sort of like a report card on all of these things. Start there before you look for any super secret hack, a cleanse, a detox, a boot camp. Start with these and you will see really remarkable changes. So I know these things aren't like flashy and sexy, but they really do pack a big punch. In the next weeks to come, I'll dive into these deeper and give you some more actionable steps. So that's it for now.
Welcome back. That was a pretty cool little segment that Natalie had.
It really was. Different tips to
Tricks,
incorporate into your
yep.
day, just to be well.
Yes, I'm not going to a gym anymore, so she's going to become my guru.
That's fantastic. I'm going to need a lot of practice, I think.
I'm going to need to watch it over and over again. Like everybody should be watching the show
Everyone
over and
should
over
do
again.
that. Yeah. And Robyn.
Yeah, she's so amazing.
She's really
a lot of
fantastic.
knowledge.
Yeah. Well, and I'm a little bit sad that it's the last year. I understand. But it's gonna be. I'm gonna be sorry to see it go.
Yeah, I'm going to actually go this year because I haven't gone yet. My last chance.
Well, I mean, wander through the trade show. Lots of really cool booths. But make sure you check out the speakers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially since it's all free.
All free, and it's gonna be raining this weekend, so
Yeah, it's going to be
stay
good.
indoors.
So what else is happening this weekend? You got anything?
Events.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have some picks for this weekend. So one is Chilliwack Cultural Center. The Vancouver International Mountain Film Festival is coming.
yeah.
So that's specially selected winning films from the Vancouver International Mountain Film Festival.
And they talk about like extreme sports
Extreme
and
athletes, yes.
and all of that fun stuff that I know nothing about.
No, unless it's extremely bumping into walls, it's probably not my forte. But
Right.
that's Saturday at 7:30, Chilliwack Cultural Center.
Yep, you could go to that.
Yeah, it's tomorrow.
Abbotsford, 1 p.m. on Saturday, is having a paint night. Have you ever been to one of those? And I don't know why they say paint night when it's at 1 p.m., but it's a paint night.
I mean, don't judge. Some of us like to be in our pajamas by 7:30.
Well, 1 p.m. you could go paint night with your family. They either or. I've been to them before. I've got like a whole bunch of paintings up, and
I've never been.
it's cool. They supply everything.
So what if you're like, what if you're
They
really
say
bad?
paint this, and you paint that, and then they say put a circle, and you put the circle. Like it's step by step by step.
So anybody can do it?
Anybody can do it. Sometimes your thing looks like you should probably put that in a bathroom far, far away, but other times they turn out really great.
All right, so people register and it's like $43.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And that you get everything. Paints,
They supply
canvas, everything.
Wine?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Probably not at
Probably
1
not
o'clock.
at 1 p.m.
No.
Soon somewhere. All right.
In Mission, there's an open mic jam from 4 to 8 every kind of Sunday. I think they do it. Yeah.
Have you ever been to one?
No, I don't like the dungy dungy dick, like I like it when it's an actual song and they you know that there's going to be an end to what they're playing. But if you are into music, that's the way you can learn.
I mean, music feeds the soul. Mm-hmm. So free entry, but you have to be 19, right?
Yeah, because it's in a pub. Yeah.
And one free drink if you jam
So
for first-time jammers.
bring some bongos. Get in the jam.
All right. So in Langley, Fort Langley area, swing dancing.
Have you ever been to that?
I did swing dancing in grade 10 gym.
Ooh, well, yes, indeed. My daughter actually met her husband at swing dancing.
Oh, that's nice. I'd like to go dancing. I don't know. I don't know that I'd be very good at it, but I think it would be fun.
I was not great.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of sweating. Yeah.
The first Friday of every month.
And they give you a lesson beforehand if you've never done it before, so that's kind of cool.
They'd better.
But with the weird thing, you go from one partner to the next. So if you go there with your husband, you're like, but I want to just stay with him. But you learn. Some of
But
these other guys,
is
they
that
get you
really-
out there whipping you around.
Is that
It's
really
so much
how
fun.
you feel?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's really
it's
fun.
swing dancing.
It's swing dancing.
All right. So Murrayville Community Memorial Hall, first hour. The lesson is the lesson, right?
And it's included in your fee.
$15. That's a good time.
Yeah.
All right.
I think it's about time for everyone to get to work.
Yeah, we should probably do that.
Thanks for watching Daybreak and have a wonderful Fraser Valley weekend.